Caitlin Clark meant to the WNBA?
Everything. She's changed the dynamic and history forever for women.
I see a lot of young girls here today, and I see how inspired they are, and she's even gotten me back into basketball.
I think she has brought attention. She did it for us. We had never watched, and we have become big fans.
I don't think her contributions have been extreme as what people think they are. I think the league in itself has been getting better, and that's really what we should be focusing on.
I think she's brought a lot of attention to the WNBA, and it's needed.
I think it's great. I actually grew up watching the WNBA, so it's really exciting to see a resurgence.
She meant everything. I never watched it before.
The living shit out of the Indiana Fever. So Indiana Fever, and it's been my belief that they will freaking fire everyone. And I do believe this. So if you're a Fever fan and you're hoping they'll keep Caitlin Clark, it's my belief that when push comes to shove, there's no way they can let her get away. They will fire everybody and start over. That's my belief. I cannot imagine the level of fumbling the bag that would have to be done.
Powerade stock.
Is it a play on like women shouldn't?
No, they didn't do it on purpose. There's no way. How you came up with this and not in the back of your minds like, oh, they're just gonna be like, oh, it's women. She just needs to cook. Didn't think about that in the PR room.
Example, and there's enough votes here. This is a good test to see how bad this would be. Swag put this out, and it's starting to make the rounds. I voted. Okay, Fever fans, answer this. If Caitlin leaves Fever, would you still support the Fever? We got 1,145 votes here. Nope, my bags are packed is far and away leading.
What do you get when Gatorade tries to ride the Caitlin Clark wave, but forgets who's actually paddling the boat? A flaming PR dumpster fire with extra electrolytes. Their Let Her Cook campaign, which felt like a slam dunk, was immediately met with ridicule and accusations of tone-deaf sexism. It was a perfect, cringe-worthy metaphor for how the entire WNBA ecosystem has handled its new superstar with a stunning combination of greed and utter cluelessness. They want to profit from the phenomenon, but they seem fundamentally incapable of understanding it. And now the very fans they've been courting have put them on notice. A new poll just dropped that should send a shockwave of terror through the Indiana Fever's front office because it confirms their worst nightmare. If Caitlin Clark leaves, her entire fan base is leaving with her.
Players make 9%, and now the merch sales are up 500%, and attendance is up, 40%. So they're going to get a raise. There's no question. And I don't really care that the previous 25 years they didn't make a lot of money or lost money. I don't care. They're in the middle of a negotiation, and they're on a heater. So it doesn't really matter. I've said this before. I made an investment for 5 years and it lost money. And I got about 6 months left in the investment. And in the last 6 months, they started making cash. I'm not bailing on the investment. I want to finally get my money back. So they're going to get a raise. They're finally turning a corner. But and negotiating in any business is all about current momentum. It's not about 12 years ago. It's about current momentum.
Let's start with the poll that should be framed and hung in the Indiana Fever's war room as a constant, terrifying reminder of their precarious situation. A simple question was posed to Fever fans. If Caitlin leaves the Fever, would you still support the Fever? With thousands of votes tallied, the answer was a landslide. The overwhelming majority, and a number so high it defies traditional sports logic, voted, nope, my bags are packed. This isn't a whisper anymore. It's a full-blown rallying cry, a declaration of independence from team loyalty. These aren't your typical lifelong season ticket holders who bleed the team colors. These are the new converts, a massive global army of fans who were baptized and fully immersed in the Church of Caitlin. They don't care about zip codes, franchise history, or the name on the front of the jersey. For them, Caitlin's name on the back isn't just a player, it's the logo, the brand, and the entire reason for their investment. Her jersey isn't a uniform, it's a GPS. Wherever she goes, they go.
Caitlin Clark is a media driver. She is a ratings driver. Think about the NBA post Magic and Larry, the NBA post Michael Jordan, tennis post Serena Williams, golf post Tiger Woods, right? There are certain athletes that drive the sport more than others. And that's not to take away from anyone else drafted tonight. That's not to take away from the other incredible superstars in the WNBA right now.
And you can't blame them because they are reacting to the slow motion sabotage they've been forced to watch all season long. The on-court mismanagement by coach Stephanie White has been bafflingly transparent. We've seen other players like veteran Kelsey Mitchell go 2 for 14 from the field, and the coach's response in the post-game press conference is a supportive, almost motherly, "Fucking keep shooting, honey. They'll fall eventually." It's portrayed as gritty veteran leadership. Meanwhile, Caitlin takes one contested 3 in crunch time, the exact kind of fearless, game-bending shot that made her a global phenomenon, and she gets a public lecture about playing within the system and avoiding hero ball. Fans aren't blind. They see the blatant double standard, the clear favoritism. And they're not going to stick around to watch the only reason they bought tickets get systemically undermined and gaslit by her own coach.
You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself.
Beyond the X's and O's, there's a human toll to this drama, a silent suffering that plays out on Clark's face every night. While she remains the consummate professional in every interview, her body language on the court tells a different story. You can see the flicker of disbelief when a teammate freezes her out of the offense for multiple possessions. You can see the controlled frustration when she's benched at a crucial moment after finally heating up. This is a player who lives and breathes competition, who has an insatiable hunger to win. Yet she's trapped in a system that seems determined to neutralize her greatest strengths. She has to smile through tense press conferences, navigate a locker room with questionable chemistry, and endure a coaching philosophy that feels more like a personal grudge than a strategy for success. The fans see this, and it fuels their protective rage. They see a superstar being emotionally and professionally worn down, not by her opponents, but by her own team.
She's 23. I'm going to pass on that question, actually. WNBA star Caitlin Clark is transforming women's sports. She fills arenas night after night, and her games have smashed TV viewership records. And if you watch Clark play, well, it's not hard to figure out why. She makes deep three-pointers look easy. And like all stars, wants the ball when the game is on the line.
This is the monarch butterfly effect, and it's a concept that traditional sports executives are struggling to comprehend. This isn't fandom, it's a full-scale migration, and Caitlin Clark is the monarch. These people aren't packing Fever merch for their next vacation, they're packing portable allegiance. They don't care if she ends up in New York, Las Vegas, or the Bermuda Triangle. If CC is on the roster, they are all in. They didn't fall in love with Indiana basketball. Most of them didn't even know what a Fever was 6 months ago. They fell in love with one Iowa kid with Steph Curry range, insane court vision, and the charisma of a late-night talk show host. She made women's basketball must-see TV, and their loyalty is conditional. The unspoken contract is simple: fifth, we will give you our money, our time, and our attention, but you have to treat her like the star she is. The moment you don't, we're gone.
And I think it's like something where if you are a star in the WNBA, like Caitlin Clark, she's probably one of the few people that anybody you can mention to somebody that knows sports will know Caitlin Clark. Yeah. She's getting a ton of deals. Coke, Gatorade, you name Nike deals. Now, I know a lot of the other players, like if you're the 12th person on the team, you're probably not making that much money, but I just feel like coming out like this, what are they going to bargain with? What is their like thing they're coming with that's going to change their salary? And that's what I was trying to figure out. I couldn't understand because they're already rev sharing. The NBA already gives them money, compensates for the loss they make every year because they lose 50.
The whole situation is a tragic comedy of the golden goose and the grumpy farmers. Clark arrived and immediately started laying golden eggs of unprecedented size, charter flights for the whole league, a massive new TV deal on the horizon, sold out arenas in every city, and merchandise sales up a staggering 500%. Before her, the league was flying Spirit Airlines. Now they're flying private. And how does the old guard within the league and on her own team respond? With jealousy, cheap shots, and a coaching staff that seems more interested in humbling the rookie than cashing in on the golden eggs. It's like discovering a gold mine and then deciding to pave over it to build a strip mall because you don't like the guy who found it. The sheer illogicality of it is mind-boggling.
Female bird. She had Van Slugenhagen on her. She was like, I'm offended that y'all have white defensive players guarding me, and she put her in the torture chamber. You should have known from her little face that she didn't want this matchup from the beginning. Caitlin reminds me of what Dame does. If anybody ever noticed, her first shot, always a three. First quarter, second quarter, third. She sets the distance on her first shot, so you have to guard her there. Now she can do whatever she wants to do. She's playing a chess game. That's what Dame does. He starts his game off He's going to shoot a deep-ass three to force.
While the Fever's coaching staff is at the center of this storm, the WNBA league office is far from blameless. They are complicit through their silence. Where is the league-mandated intervention? Where is the commissioner stepping in to protect the league's most valuable asset? Their inaction sends a clear message. They are perfectly content to let this drama play out, but perhaps even quietly endorsing the humbling of a star who became bigger than the league itself overnight. They promote her face on every billboard and use her ratings to negotiate billion-dollar deals. But when it comes to ensuring she's in a functional, supportive environment, they are nowhere to be found. This isn't just a franchise problem, it's a failure of leadership at the highest level, a conspiracy of silence that prioritizes the fragile egos of the old guard over the health of their golden goose.
WNBA before Caitlin Clark and the WNBA after Caitlin Clark. Describe these two worlds.
Oh, entirely different. 180, you know. The WNBA before started in 1997, the year after the Atlanta Olympics, and was launched into a time when women's sports was still not taken seriously by a lot of, people. And some of those same guys now, if we want to talk about before and after, some of those same guys, or guys like them, are the ones buying the 22 jerseys, wearing them to games, Major, but also to the grocery store and to the gas station. It is now cool to be a WNBA fan, and it is cool to love Caitlin Clark and the spotlight that is finally shining on these players.
Let's talk about the Olympics now.
On the night that I broke the news, someone read me the list that Caitlin Clark was not on the Olympic team, which was June 7th. She had just had 30 points and 7 threes against Washington in an amazing game. And bottom line on this is they did not want her on the team. There was either a sense that she needs to wait her turn. They wanted to give Diana Taurasi the going away present. Name another time when you would ever give an athlete a going away present with an Olympic berth. Outrageous. So Caitlin said, hey, it's okay. And in interview, she said, it's all right, I'll make it the next time. Well, in the book, I have a wonderful anecdote from then.
This has turned into a full-blown hostage situation, and the fans are the ones making the demands. The Indiana Fever management had one simple job: don't screw this up. And yet, here we are, watching them seemingly try to micromanage a generational talent into irrelevance. The fans feel like they've been sold a bill of goods. You can't use her face to sell every product from Gatorade to garden hoses and then treat her like a glorified decoy in the actual game. That's not strategy. That's sabotage. The fans' message, delivered loud and clear through that poll, is now an ultimatum: fix this, or we're taking our money and our attention elsewhere. If Caitlin leaves, we leave.
I was mesmerized by her. And I will tell you this. This was the greatest performance I've ever seen in the NCAA tournament, girl or boy. Greatest performance.
On this biggest stage?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because rarely does a game like this live up to its hype.
Yeah.
Rarely do you have the two superstars play like superstars, because you got to understand the scout report is geared to stop you. All the hype coming into this is going to be people who've never watched a girls' basketball game watched. A lot of people watched for the first.
That'd be fine if her way was producing championships. Instead, it's producing late-game melt.
So what happens if she actually leaves? It won't just be a trade. It will be an extinction-level event for the Indiana Fever. The WNBA will experience the largest, most immediate fan exodus in its history. One day, you're playing in front of packed houses and setting viewership records. The next, it's crickets, and reruns of Ninja Warrior are pulling higher ratings. The entire ecosystem revolves around her. Take Clark out of Indiana, and that team goes back to being just another name in a box score, a forgotten franchise in a flyover state. Put her anywhere else, and that city instantly becomes the new epicenter of WNBA fandom. This isn't a threat from the fans, it's a promise. For them, Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's the entire product. And if she walks, the product goes with her, leaving Indiana with nothing but an empty arena and the ghost of a dynasty they fumbled away.